What do you think? What's the secret to a lasting marriage?
Luck.
I would say food.
Having lots of fun together.
Being able to communicate, negotiate.
Communication and dating.
Lots of money and good sex.
That too.
You need some intellectual companionship, fluttering of the heart, tingling of the spine.
Understanding and compromise.
Good communication.
Communication.
Yeah, I would say communication.
Understanding each other's point of view.
The secret is the communication.
I think communication is key, dude.
Talking, communicating.
I mean, it's a big mystery, actually.
Definitely good romance.
If you don't communicate, you don't know what the other thinks.
You can't think about what each other are thinking. You have to talk to each other.
When you don't know that, it's the beginning of the problem.
We all have a deep desire for a close connection with another person. This is one of our most fundamental human needs. But a close connection in marriage will only be achieved where there's good communication. Nikki and I had been dating for about 5 months when he went away traveling, backpacking in Africa, while I had to stay in the UK and finish my school exams. And this was in the days well before mobile phones and the internet. So we had to write letters to each other all through that time to stay connected. And even though we were apart for 6 months, it was an incredibly important part of our growing closer. We learnt so much about each other as we shared our innermost thoughts, our ideas, our dreams, and especially our feelings in those letters.
The strange thing was, when we were both back in the same country but in different cities, Scylla was in London, I was at university in another city, we really struggled in our communication as we had to rely on public phones.
So I was sharing a house with 3 other girls, and the phone was right at the bottom of the stairs. And there was this steady traffic of people going up and down, overhearing everything I said every time I rang Nikki. And I knew Nikki was longing to hear me say all kinds of intimate things, like I loved him, I was missing him. But that would have been far too embarrassing to say out loud with everybody going up and down.
I, meanwhile, was speaking from a public phone box in the street, and I was having to shove money into the box with this queue of other students forming outside and occasionally tapping their money on the glass if they thought that I was going on too long, which wasn't ideal while I was trying to have this romantic conversation with Scylla, telling her how much I loved her, and only getting quite perfunctory answers from her.
So we regularly ended up those conversations with either one or both of us feeling misunderstood, upset, and disconnected. And learning to communicate effectively is something Nikki and I have had to learn ourselves and go on learning throughout our marriage in order to stay closely connected.
Take 7.
Phones have really changed the dynamic of how you interact because they're around all the time.
I would say if there's one area where bickering continues, it's via text message. Like text message bickering is the worst bickering because it's so easy to misinterpret what someone else is saying. Like the other day, I was late. I was late coming home from work. I was in the back of the car.
He gave me the ETA.
I gave him the ETA
estimated time of arrival
before we hit traffic, and I think it was 6:15 or 7:15 or whatever time it was.
It was 6:12.
Yeah.
And at 6:15, he's still not home.
Yeah. So she texted. Well, the text message was, "You should have told me you were late, and I should have gotten the text at 6:12." Right? Like
6:11.
6:11.
When you were going to miss it.
I think the problem with text messages is you don't understand the context the other person is in when they're sending it, and you don't understand the context the other person is in when they're receiving it. So you have no idea.
I have screaming kids. I'm exhausted. He was supposed to be home early. You know, you're really both pulling your hair out, but you can't see the other person. And I do think that that screen of technology where you can't see the other person and you don't know what they're going through is very hard to not be mean on text.
Out of that, I've sort of now put in my frame of reference, if I can't end the text message without a kissy face emoji, I probably should not be sending it to my wife.
Close connection in marriage has a lot to do with the level at which we communicate with each other. There are broadly 3 levels. Level 1 communication is about facts, passing on information at a superficial level, such as it's raining, the train's late, we've gone into overdraft. That creates a weak connection.
Level 2 is a